In January 2019, Gillette released a video that was under 2 minutes long. Within hours, boycott hashtags were trending. YouTube was flooded with reactions, parodies, and criticism. Longtime customers filmed themselves throwing Gillette razors in the trash, but that was only the noisy part. The most expensive damage was not the backlash itself. It came from a strategic mistake that many big companies still make, confusing what gets people talking with what gets people buying. Gillette was never just selling razors. They were selling an image of manhood. They were selling habit. They were selling pride passed down across generations. And when they tried to correct men, what cracked was not just the brand image. It was loyalty that took more than 100 years to build. In this video, I am breaking down the Gillette case through an economic and strategy lens in 3 layers. How Gillette built this empire in the first place. Why an ad that sounded right still failed commercially. And the key lesson for CEOs and CMOs. When values-based marketing is smart strategy and when it starts eroding trust. Stay to the end, because I am going to give you one practical test. How to tell when a message that helps brand image also helps sales and when it is just an expensive gamble. If you only follow the headlines, this looks like a simple story. Gillette made a toxic masculinity ad, backlash exploded, and the brand paid the price. But the ad was only the trigger. The cracks were already there. Before We Believe aired, Gillette was already under pressure from 4 directions at once. Market share erosion, consumer behavior changes, low-cost subscription competitors attacking the category, and a brand that was slowly losing relevance with younger customers. So this is not just a story about one controversial video, it is the story of an old empire trying to reposition in a new world and choosing a strategy that made core customers feel betrayed. To understand how expensive this fall was, you first need to understand how powerful Gillette used to be. Gillette was founded in 1901 by King Camp Gillette. The idea was simple but extremely powerful. A reusable handle and blades you replace regularly. That later became the classic business model, razor and blades. Before Gillette, men used straight razors. They had to be sharpened, they were dangerous, and they were inconvenient. Gillette turned shaving into a daily habit, faster, safer, and easier to maintain. Then came wartime. Many soldiers used Gillette razors while serving. When they came home, they brought that habit with them. That is when Gillette stopped being just a bathroom product. It became part of a man's coming-of-age ritual. A father teaching his son how to shave. A small object becoming a family memory. Then Gillette did something very few brands ever pull off. They connected an ordinary product to masculine identity. Sports, big events, discipline, confidence, performance, winning. In 1989, the slogan, "The best a man can get," was introduced. That was not just a tagline, it was a cultural code. The implied message was simple: you're not just buying a razor, you're buying a better version of yourself. That is how Gillette became a global empire. In 2005, Procter & Gamble acquired Gillette for about $57 billion, one of the biggest deals in consumer goods history. At that point, Gillette was not just a strong brand. It was a habit, a trust system, and a legacy. And when a brand that strong makes a mistake, the cost gets very expensive. By 2017 and 2018, the picture had changed. Gillette was still huge, but no longer untouchable. They were being squeezed from 3 sides. First, customers were using less. Beards became more popular. Younger men shaved less often. Less shaving means fewer blade purchases. Very simple. Second, subscription brands changed the game. Dollar Shave Club, Harry's. They won on practical value. Cheaper, more convenient, delivered to your door, and positioned as brands for a new generation. Gillette did respond, including price cuts. But that created a trap. Cut prices and margins get squeezed. Do not cut prices and you lose customers. Third, a loss of connection with younger consumers. This was the deepest problem. The issue was not just price. The issue was that Gillette was losing the cultural role that made it powerful in the first place. Before, the question was, how do we make a better razor? Now the question had become, how do we make this brand feel relevant to younger people again? And this is where a lot of companies start making bad decisions. When growth slows, companies often reach for shortcuts to regain attention. Gillette did too. Right around then, values-based marketing was rising. Brands attaching themselves to social values to build goodwill and regain relevance. It sounds good in a strategy deck. But in the real market, people can praise your message and still buy from your competitor, and Gillette was about to learn that lesson the expensive way. On January 13th, 2019, Gillette released, "We Believe the Best Men Can Be." This was a major slogan pivot, from "the best a man can get" to "the best men can be." In plain terms, the brand shifted from selling a product and an image to delivering a message about how men should behave. The video opened with scenes of bullying, harassment, catcalling, and talking over women. Only later did it transition into more positive examples. From a creative standpoint, that structure was not necessarily wrong. The problem was this: Gillette said one thing, but core customers heard something else. Gillette wanted to say, "Men can be better." A lot of people heard, "Men are the problem." And when that message comes from a brand they have bought for decades, it can feel like moralizing, finger-pointing, and a brand turning against its own customers. The result? Backlash exploded within hours. Dislikes surged, boycott hashtags trended, reactions and parodies spread all over YouTube. The key point is this: Gillette thought they were opening a conversation. The market felt like they were delivering a lecture. And once a brand is perceived that way, the crisis does not stay in the comments section. It starts affecting buying behavior. When people talk about Gillette in 2019, they usually remember the online noise. But the most dangerous part was not the comments or the parodies. It was customers changing their buying habits. Customers do not have to post angry videos to hurt you. The most dangerous customers are the ones who say nothing and quietly switch brands. In the months that followed, some customers moved to Harry's, Dollar Shave Club, Schick, and others, and did not come back. You can buy reach, you can manufacture trend, but it is very hard to buy back a habit once it changes. Financially, the story was even heavier because Gillette was already weakening before the ad. P&G later reported a major write-down tied to the Gillette business. To be fair, that was not caused by one ad alone. It was the result of multiple pressures: falling demand, rising competition, and changing market behavior. But in the public mind, the timing fused everything together. The campaign did not save Gillette. It made the old cracks more visible. And then came the second mistake. Instead of de-escalating, leadership in the grooming division publicly framed it as a price worth paying. Why? Because by that point, this was no longer just marketing. It had become an organizational psychology problem. What happens when internal conviction gets rejected by the market? When a campaign is approved top-down and tied to values, companies often fall into three traps. Once it is launched, it becomes hard to admit it was a mistake. They want to preserve the image that they are on the right side. And even with weak results, they keep defending the original decision. In short, Gillette did not just make a mistake in the ad. They also made a mistake in how they handled the reaction after the ad. So, if you are a big brand losing momentum, how do you avoid this trap? I would boil it down to 4 principles. 1. Do not confuse discussion with demand. People can share your campaign, argue about it, and even call it brave. Then they go to the store and buy your competitor. 2. Know whether customers buy you for meaning or for convenience. In some categories, brand story matters a lot. In others, people buy mainly because it is convenient, affordable, familiar, and effective. 3. Do not make core customers feel judged. You can expand to new audiences, but if the people already paying your bills feel disrespected, you are burning trust. 4. If you want to reposition, do it in steps. Test small. Measure real reaction. See whether it changes purchase behavior. Then scale. Do not turn a 100-year-old brand into a giant YouTube experiment. Gillette is one of the most useful cases to study, because this was not just a failed ad. It was a major brand misreading the line between what makes people praise you and what makes people pay you, between being right in message and being right in strategy. And when a company misreads that line, the cost is not just sales, it is loyalty. So what do you think was Gillette's biggest mistake? A, the message; B, the timing; C, the audience; D, doubling down after the backlash. Comment just one letter, A, B, C, or D, and one sentence explaining why. If you like this kind of analysis, how big brands create their own crises, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. See you in the next video.